What's up? I guess it's time for Lostview 4.6, the review of The Other Woman, which is a strangely, actually when I first watched it, I wasn't real excited about it, but watching it a second time, it was a lot better. I think the first time I couldn't really enjoy it as well because I was distracted trying to get TalkShoe to work, because usually I chat on there at the same time as I watched the episode, but I just couldn't get it to work last night, so there was that to deal with. But anyway, you might want to pick one of these up before supplies run out. I got mine this morning. So at the beginning, when Juliet is talking to her psychiatrist, the psychiatrist says something like, "You're big news around here." It's kind of funny because that's what they said about Locke when Locke came over there later in the timeline. Like Cindy was saying, everyone's excited that you're here, and that's kind of what they were saying about Juliet too. That's kind of weird. I don't think that means there's a Locke and Juliet connection, though. I can't really see that happening, but I don't know. Judging by this cover, you'd think there was a Saeed and Juliet connection. I can actually see them as a couple, almost. It's kind of weird. I don't know. Because there was so much animosity between them at the beginning, and then now it's like, holy moly. Harper, Juliet's psychiatrist. I don't even know what to say about that, man. Who in the world is that? It seems like her character was kind of a catalyst for them to demonstrate that Ben could use the bodies of dead people, which I don't know if she's dead or not. I mean, I don't really... I guess she is, because we've never really seen her before, but somehow Ben was using an apparition or her body itself. If they wanted to demonstrate that Ben was able to do this, they could have used the ghost of any other dead person that we've seen. They didn't have to introduce a new character and then have us assume that she's dead, and then say, okay, she's dead, and Ben's using her apparition to relay a message to Juliet. It would have been cool if, like, Tom had appeared in the jungle and relayed this message to her. And that would have been, like, more shocking. I mean, I'm just speculating on the assumption that Harper is dead, and Ben is using her apparition, or her spirit, or her body to relay his message to Juliet. But if that's what they were trying to tell us, they could have just used Tom or somebody. Or Ethan, who knows, or even Goodwin. Actually, Ben, I'm not sure if I like what they did with him in this episode, the way they kind of made him into a lovesick fool. I don't know. I mean, I guess eventually we had to find out that something was motivating him, and, you know, what is there in this world that can motivate a person more than anything else besides love? And I know everybody's sick of the whole love triangle thing. I mean, most people, I don't know, maybe not. I mean, a lot of people are sick of all the love triangle, hexagon, pentagon, whatever it's up to now. It's almost like a love octagon at this point, because you got Jack likes Juliet, but he also likes Kate. Kate and Juliet are kind of jealous of each other, and then there's like Kate's off here with Sawyer on the side. Sawyer was off with Ana Lucia at one point. Ana Lucia was with Goodwin. Goodwin was with Juliet, and Juliet's back with Jack again. It's all like one big... And now to find out that Ben is involved? I mean, oh my god. I don't know, Ben always struck me as kind of a smart, conniving villain, you know, who wasn't susceptible to that kind of emotional stuff. And I'm not saying the emotions are bad or anything, but I guess the implication is that Juliet is Ben's weakness. But if that's the case, then are we supposed to be waiting for her to betray him now? Because she already did that, so if this was going to have such a huge effect on him, then that already happened. Or I don't know how to explain that. I don't know. It's like I was saying before, I mean, Ben always struck me as kind of a smart villain, and to think that he's doing this all because he has a crush on somebody or something, I don't know. It seems kind of soap opera-ish, I guess. You know, if that's as far as he's gotten in his emotional development, is that he's still, you know, paddling around in the unrequited love pool. I mean, so am I, yeah. But if there's one thing I've learned about unrequited love, it's this. You don't go swinging your tennis racket like a madman when the ball is not in your court. You just make yourself even look like more of a fool and scare him away even more when you do that, so... Surely there's got to be something else motivating him besides that. And we also consider that Locke set Ben free at the end of the episode. So whatever Ben told Locke must have been really important. A lot of people were mad that that Ben sat there and teased us with the idea that he was going to say who was on the boat, who his man on the boat was, and then they didn't tell us that. But what they did tell us, that was Locke set him free as a result of finding out that information. So that makes that information even more of a speculation, even more important and exciting to wonder who it is. I mean, I don't think that if Ben said, hey, guess what, my man on the boat is Michael, that would have motivated Locke to set him free, because what the hell does that have to do with Locke? Locke and Michael barely even had any interaction. Locke was conspicuously absent from like the last few episodes of season 2 until the finale when he and Desmond went off to the hatch. But he went somewhere. You remember at the end of season 2 after he talked to Rose, or he was sitting on the beach. He was sitting on the beach and he had the splint on his leg and he cut it off and he just got up and started walking. And then eventually he showed up again, but nobody knows where he went. I don't remember if we figured that out, where he went, but I could probably come up with something, but it would take me some time. I don't know, I could turn the camera off and come up with something right now, probably, but it's like Ben could have told Locke, okay, I'm going to set Michael free, but he's not going to actually get off the island, and Locke would know that, and, well, what would Locke want to have to do with Michael anyway? I mean, Juliet comments near the beginning of the episode that Ben treats her really well, and then her psychiatrist says, well, of course he does, because you look just like her. I'm assuming we're talking about Annie there. I don't know. Annie would be Ben's childhood friend, for those who don't remember, but I'm sure you already knew that. And that's what turns me on about you, your attention to detail. You know, Ben obviously left Dharma to, you know, go off and meet with Richard and arrange for this purge, you know, this genocide, or whatever you want to call it. But one has to wonder whether or not Ben invited anyone else from Dharma to come with him. Maybe someone else felt the same way that he did about what they were doing and decided they wanted out, so Ben took him with him, and Annie could have been one of those people. But what they're saying is basically that maybe Ben knew, because he was with Dharma, and he knew what they were doing. So what they were probably going to do was use this gas station that we just found out about. This gas station? Oh, that is not good. You know, there's a gas station on the island. If I told you that last week, you probably wouldn't believe me, right? Where would the hostiles have gotten their gas masks from, though? Because I thought only Dharma had those, because only Dharma knew about the gas, because they built the gas station. I mean, the gas station wouldn't have already been there, so Ben would have had to steal those gas masks or something, wouldn't he? Or maybe he just took them out one at a time or something? But either way, the hostiles ended up with the gas mask, and that's how they protected themselves from it when they had it sprayed over the whole island to kill all the Dharma people. So one has to wonder who else from Dharma might have survived. Because when Ben shot Locke and he knocked him into the ditch, he did say, I was one of the people, one of the ones, in plural form, one of the ones who was smart enough not to end up in that ditch. Another theory that actually someone on the fuselage who goes by the name of Lost Laura, I might have to send her a message and tell her that I mentioned her in a video. I don't know, but she has a theory that, and I actually really like this theory, because I always thought, and this is kind of off topic a little bit, but I always thought that when Kelvin had the rip in his hazmat suit and Desmond saw it and followed him outside, I always thought that Kelvin deliberately put that rip in his suit to lure Desmond outside so that he wouldn't push the button and the plane would crash. What she's saying, what Laura's saying, is that maybe Desmond, or not Desmond, but Kelvin was in cahoots with Ben, and that Ben told Kelvin he was going to lure him out. Or, you know, Ben told Kelvin to get Desmond out of the hatch at a certain time so that he wouldn't be able to push the button and that would bring the plane down. Because we've seen in this episode that obviously Ben brought the plane down, or he played a part in bringing it down. He may not have directly, you know, used the force to bring it down or something, but obviously he had reasons for wanting the plane to crash and wanting these passengers to come to the island. When Locke says we were each brought here for a reason, well, Jack was brought there to cure Ben's tumor. Ana Lucia was obviously brought there to kill Goodwin. That was kind of an aha moment in this episode when Goodwin says, what's Ben gonna do? And then it cuts to the plane crashing. So I think that's almost their way of saying in our face that Ben did make the plane crash. But at the same time, how does that affect Goodwin? Well, it affects him because Ana Lucia was on the plane and she was the one that ended up killing Goodwin because she found out about him and all that stuff. It makes me wonder if it's not going to end up being that Ben had a specific reason for each and every single one of the survivors to be on that plane, and they've been holding that back all this time. What if each one of these survivors ends up doing one specific thing that all comes together as part of a grand master plan that ends up helping Ben? And then wouldn't it just be the icing on the cake if Ben really was the good guy? Juliet seems so worried when she says Ben is going to win. She seems so convinced that she doesn't want him to win. But Juliet seems like a good person, so... I mean, obviously Juliet and Jack are against Ben because they don't know that he's... Well, we don't know that he's a good guy yet. I want to believe it so bad. And I do, with all my freaking heart, I do. God, this is going to be such a long video. It'll take forever to edit this piece of crap. Oh, can't wait for next week. Next week is Sun and Jin, and obviously, if you saw the preview, I don't know. I don't guess that's spoiling too much. I hope not, anyway. But yeah, I ain't said jack squat, man. I ain't said crap. Bye.